Somewhere in the Sierra del Castell de Solana, that was a bit of a mouthful, but it's in Spain, there can apparently be found the remains of a castle, also known as Castell d'Aixa. Dave and I decided to go for a hike and look for it, since it sits atop a summit and we fancied a day's hiking up a mountain. Our walk starts in Xaló, and it was one of those days where we got more than we anticipated.
This wonderfully spiky ridge.
Come along with us and take a look.
Are they lemons? Yes, lemons. Some of them on the way back.
I don't condone stealing.
I bet you enjoy the orange though, that I've nicked.
Our walk started off tamely enough, but as we headed uphill the terrain became increasingly scrubby and ultimately quite gnarly.
Kids, I've been looking for them all my life.
Beautiful terrace we're on.
I'm playing everyone I meet.
That's where we were before. There's the Calpe.
You swept the sweeper off of his feet.
Make out all these terraces. The agriculture that was once here.
Heading up through a series of terraces, the path becomes a little less distinct, and then unexpectedly narrow along the crest.
I never knew we could feel this way. Now that I do, I want it every day.
What's this wonderfully spiky ridge?
Oh, baby, the way you burn.
The route continues across the ridge you can see and onto the final summit.
Right on this ridge. Spectacular this. Having arrived at the castle, or what's left of what was once a castle.
To be quite honest, there wasn't much left of the castle to look at, just a few walls, but the ridge was unexpectedly excellent.
Sort of room there.
Now your man is all I wanna be.
Just come across this ridge you see behind you, all the rates, and the Bernia Ridge with a cloud just looming up over on there. And there's the Peñón.
I never knew we could feel this way. Now that I do, I want it every day. Ooh, the way you burn.
What's that?
Nice juicy orange.
There we go, we've reached the sign. First sign we've had all day along the ridge.
It's Hard-Won, wasn't it?
So we've just come down from the peak up there, and some of the ridge we've been across. Xaló.
50 minutes.
Tricks, got no use for them anymore. I hope you don't find someone bulletproof.
So there it is, the castle on the hill. But before we move on to our next spiky summit, let's try those oranges.
Oh,
What did you think of your orange, Dave, that I pinched?
Well, it serves me right, I suppose.
what's it like?
Tart, I would say.
Our next spiky summit is Bernia, at a height of 1,126 metres. The peak is the highest point of a 3.5 kilometre long ridge and is located at its western end. The Bernia Ridge is a rocky crest, the full traverse of which involves some bolted climbing, some abseils and some enjoyable scrambling.
And here we are, southern Spain, a windy cold morning, 10:30. Somewhere up there we're headed, the Bernia Ridge, possibly summit.
We're approaching the summit from the western end of the ridge.
Already the views are opening up. Pretty easy going so far. Wide track to follow. Splendiferous mountains. That's awesome, this. Curving round into the valley. The sun still hasn't come over the top yet, but it's just glinting through the summit there.
The well-marked path leads to the Fort de Bernia, which we'll take a look at later. But before reaching this point, the summit path turns off to the left and uphill on a scree path towards the impressive-looking cliffs above.
Got the wall below us.
Fort de Bernia was built in 1562 by order of Philippe II and was designed to prevent a repeat of the Moorish revolt that occurred in 1526. But we'll return here later. Meantime, we're approaching some scrambling in order to gain the ridge to Bernia's main summit.
It seems to go around this ledge next. And I'm guessing after that, it circles back up here somehow. Final push to the summit ahead of Sue. There's Sue giving a wave. Magical view. Wow.
Hold on tight. I can smell the shore, it's right in front of us if we just.
Higher up on the Bernia Ridge.
This vision that I saw is getting closer every dawn. Ooh, we are dreamers of the shore. Now on this boat, and we all know where we belong. Just wait. Ooh. Wait for our home to show up.
Wow!
And soon we'll be there.
Going along the Bernia Ridge, right to the Peñón at Calpe, and then back to where we came up from. Down there. Full circle back to Peñón. Beautiful location. You can have your lunch.
Needless to say, oranges weren't a feature of our lunch this time.
So spectacular.
We are dreamers of the shore. Picture I can see if I just close my eyes. Have the foresight to believe. Time don't move backwards, it speeds to the future fearlessly. Charging forward.
And after the chain, a little groove, you step back on the other side of the ridge. Back on the north side. Groove just in front of Sue. arrive at the fort.
Whatever happens, I'm good. I'm good. Actually, more than good. Kinda great. Even on the bad days, I thank God for making me brave.
And the tunnel. No person can get through there. Maybe a 5-foot line to get through there.
Oh, easy.
Where that goes.
So I could be one of the greats on a big stage, inspiring people to.
From the fort, the path continues along the base of the ridge, with lovely views down to the coast. But the summit isn't the only highlight on this hike. There was a further surprise to come.
Building our legacy, travel the world.
Just below us down here, you can make out the car park if I'm pointing to the right place.
Sierra de Bernia.
Yeah, Sierra de Bernia. We cycled up to the top of there. You can see some of the road heading down. You can just pick it out in amongst the trees. Down there, zigzagging around. Way back down there. There's some climb. Got some downhill footage of it. At the moment, we're staying up on this ledge. Light on there.
Even on the bad days, I thank God for making me.
Some face of rock. Here's the caves.
So here was the final surprise. I don't think Dave realised at this point that the tunnel crosses right through the mountain to the other side.
Quite a draft. Somebody might get through without ducking, but it's not going to be me. Mind your head. Oh, it's a cold draft coming through here. Here we go. Through the tunnel. Easy for spoilers along. Crouching until reaching the top. Easy job for me. Leave me poles there, I think. Can you continue or not? Oh, we went round the hill.
We are.
There's a shorten it, has it? Awesome.
This is the route. Enjoy that.
Yeah. Just look at this. What a face of rock. And a bird just clinging to the rock face.
Posh dogs tonight, is it, Dave?
How posh they'll be. What they'll be.
Oh, there's a salad. There's some dressing in the fridge as well. Well made. Posh dogs in there, and I felt compelled to film here. Look at the view out of the window that we've got. I'll open the door. Got my slippers on. Signpost. How's that for a view? And as if that wasn't good enough, look at that. Bernia Ridge. Fabulous.
That's it for now, viewers. I'll leave it here looking up at the Bernia Ridge. I hope you enjoyed the ridges and the summits. If so, please give this a like and hit the subscribe button. And if you click on the bell icon, you'll be notified of the next video. Until then, cheerio!